Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Dr. Jerome Lavelle, and today we will be looking at Luke chapter 21, verses 5 through 11. While some people were speaking about how the temple was adorned with costly stones and votive offerings, Jesus said, "All that you see here, the days will come when there will not be left a stone upon another stone that will not be thrown down." And then they asked him, "Teacher, when will this happen? And what sign will there be when all these things are about to happen?" He answered, "See that you not be deceived. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and the time has come. Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and insurrections, do not be terrified, for such things must happen first. But it will not immediately be the end." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be powerful earthquakes, famines, and plagues from place to place, and awesome sights and mighty signs will come from the sky." This passage in Luke's Gospel has two sections. In the first, he portends the coming down of the temple. Jesus tells his audience, although they may not understand his complete meaning, that the times are coming when the temple will be taken down, by which he means changed, and it is Jesus who will precipitate that change. He also implies that beautiful stones and elegant votives do not make the temple. As in Mark chapter 7, he indicates that what is important is not what's on the outside, but what is on the inside. In the case of the temple in Jerusalem in Jesus' time, from the perspective of fidelity to God's law, the temple from the inside was rotten, and Jesus alluded to this when speaking the verses just before what we read today. He said the temple was a den of thieves. It was corrupt, and it was at variance in God's way. And that's what Jesus was commenting on when he said that the stones would be dismantled. The second section of this passage involves Jesus' response to the question of, "When will the temple be brought down, Jesus?" they said to him. And here he speaks of false prophets and heresy and calamity, of social turmoil and famine and plagues. And he indicates, in reference to the signs that the people are asking about, he indicates that awesome sights and mighty signs will come from the sky. And here I see Jesus referencing the explosion that will occur during his passion, his death, and his resurrection. And so in those two sections, what we hear is the temple is rotten and change is coming. And secondly, expect an upheaval in society and your lives. But what he did not do in these passages was to tell all of them yet the role that he will play in this change. But that is not true for us today. We know who Jesus is and his role in creation and in our lives. So here are some questions for our consideration. What stones in my life is Jesus trying to take down? What sins, what attachments, what attitudes, what actions and behaviors, what stones in my life are Jesus trying to take down? What turmoil and calamity, what famine and plagues are there in my life that Jesus is the answer to? Are we leaning on Jesus in the times and challenges that everyone faces? So what are those times where we should be leaning on Jesus? And are we leaning on Jesus? And then maybe lastly, what signs are there in my life of Jesus' love and providence? He speaks of signs in the sky. What signs are there in my life? Do I see the things God is showing me? Do I hear the things he is telling me? Now, today's gospel is more than a story of Jesus' interaction with people in the temple in Jerusalem. It is a roadmap for us to think out our lives and His role and His meaning to us. Because with Him, we can build a beautiful temple that is pleasing to God when we put Him at the centerpiece. Well, in closing, remember to send questions and feedback to my email at jeromelevelmusic@gmail.com or sign up on my email list at my website, jeromelevelmusic.com. Let's all think about what we need to do to build a beautiful temple to God with our lives. Thank you for joining the Daily Scripture Podcast today, and until next time, be well and be blessed.